everybody! It's Micah, and I figured out how to take the highlight off of my mouse cursor, so that's a plus, because we don't need that. We do not need that, and I'm pretty happy about that. Also, I bought a PlayStation 4 as an early birthday present for myself, though when this video is posted, it's probably going to be like way past my birthday. My birthday is September 16th, in case anyone is wondering, and I'll be turning 20 on that date. I might do a happy birthday vlog for myself. I don't really know. I don't know. I think I'll just make a video being like, I'm turning 20! Or I'm 20 years old! Or something, and just be like, well, this is my life compared to how it was, and I don't know. I've got ideas that are rolling around, but I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing. So, yeah. So past me is being like, birthday, September 16th, bought a PlayStation 4 for the occasion. And I've got a frozen cake in the freezer that's been there for a while, just kinda chilling, waiting until it's time to eat it. So, yeah. How about we start this game, shall we? Good morning, Franz. Good morning, Professor. Sorry to keep you waiting, Elise. It's okay, Professor Poe and I were just chatting. As it is already late, Elise and I begin preparing the experiment right away. Elise gulps down a bottle of mana potion while I'm setting up a number of measuring tools and other lab equipment. Are you ready? Yeah! A kindly, compassionate aura radiates from Elise, her eyes fixed on shattered pieces of window glass lying on a desk in front of her. And nothing happened, probably. The glass is still in pieces. I didn't feel anything abnormal when she cast her magic. All readings from the measuring tools show a regular revive spell. Let's try again. Okay. Nothing again. Probably nothing again. And it just keeps going. I wonder why it felt different yesterday. You mean when I tried it on the piano? Yeah. It's already almost noon. There's no time to waste. Professor, I want to bring Elise to the factory again. Yesterday we couldn't record any data because I left all the instruments here. Do what you must, young scholar. You need not ask permission. Thanks, Professor. Let's go, Elise. Okay. Ah, would you do me a favor? Sure, Professor. What can I do for you? The professor hands me a paper on which he had been writing until a minute ago. On your way, please deliver this to Joff Godwin. I examine the paper. It has my handwriting on it, with some corrections by Professor Poe and his signature at the bottom. Isn't this the budget plan I made a few days ago? Yes, Joff wanted to know how the research fund would be used. I see. I'll stop by the Lord's mansion on my way home from the factory. Please do. With Elise's help, I take some measuring tools, though we still can't carry the big ones, and leave the laboratory. After eating lunch in the cafeteria, Elise and I head to the factory. Oh hey, it's more daylighty in this area, so it doesn't look so... I don't really know. I don't want to say gloomy, but like... It doesn't look so special anymore, I guess? Because I don't know about anybody else, but like, to me, if something's in like a specific kind of lighting, that place just looks super special. And like, really memorable, you know? I don't know, maybe it's just me. Once we've arrived, we immediately head to the piano and start preparing for the experiment. This time we have some equipment from the lab, so we'll be able to measure data more precisely. Elise stands next to the piano, same as yesterday, and casts her spell. That feeling occurs on the first try, that strange mistaken belief that suddenly arises in my mind, where I'm convinced, utterly convinced for a moment that the piano has been fixed. But of course it hasn't. The readings from the measuring tools show abnormality, but nothing that I can make sense of. I take note of the numbers for later analysis. I urge Elise to keep going. There is that bizarre feeling again. No matter how many times I've felt it, no matter how certain I am that the piano will remain broken, for that instant where the magic is cast, I am positive, without a sliver of doubt, that the piano had made a sound. It's only a moment later, when the light of the magic fades, that I know that there hasn't been any sound. The measurement readings surprise me. Once again, they show results completely different from when we did it in the lab, but they also don't look anything like the readings I got from the first spell Elise cast a moment ago. It's as if the results were strange just for the sake of being strange. Irregular, illogical, inconsiderate. Elise continues. Again, more strange results, different from results in the lab, different from the previous 2 sets of readings. When we're done with today's experiment, the piano's still mute, the sun has already turned red in the west. Why won't you sing? Elise is slumped at the piano, attempting awkwardly to give it a hug. We did get some data. I might be able to learn something from it. To be honest, I don't know how much I'll be able to learn from the data. At a glance it looks like gibberish to me, but I need to keep Elise's spirit up or we may never be able to unearth the underlying pattern. My assurance seems to be working. Elise gets up from the piano and faces me with renewed vigor in her glittering eyes. Really? Will I be able to revive the piano after you've studied the data? I'll do my best. Will I be able to revive the piano after you've done your best to study the data? I don't know. Hopefully you will. Music stopped. Oh god. And then it froze for a second, but now we're good. Okay. For a second I thought it was going to crash on me, but we're good. While Elise is still whimpering like a small animal, we hear footsteps from the grassy path that leads to the backyard. Elise? Elise and I turn to the direction of the voice and find a girl around my age, looking as tired as her dirt and dust-covered, sweaty factory uniform. Jude! Elise, I heard you resigned from the factory yesterday. What happened? Why didn't you come and see me? What are you doing here? Jude, I'm sorry. I wanted to see you yesterday, but... Anyway, I'm fine. I'm now working as a research assistant for Franz. Research assistant? Franz? The girl's face is fixed on me. She observes me with suspicion clearly written on her face. Hi, I'm Franz Byron, a student at Conservatoire des Ouvertures. What do you want from Elise? Her accusatory tone contrasts with the anxiety in her gait as she slowly puts herself between me and Elise, like a scared doe who forces herself to be courageous in order to shield her fawns from a lion. Jude, it's okay. Franz isn't a bad guy. He's helping me repair the piano. The piano? This thing? The girl meekly points a finger at the broken piano. Yeah, Franz is researching a way to repair it with compassion magic, so we're helping each other. Elise, you can't fix the piano with magic. Yes, we can. We're already making progress, I think. Elise. She glances at me, unsure of what to say, before continuing to speak with Elise. Elise, we're pros. We don't mix with the bourgeois. You can't be a bourgeois. But I don't consider myself a bourgeois. That's right, because you're just a factory worker. Come back to reality, Elise. There is no happy ending in this, you know. Why not? I'll make my own happy ending if I have to. Elise's determination stands in stark contrast with the other girl's obvious concern. No, Elise. The girl smiles, but her smile looks sorrowful. Happy endings are a luxury. And the thing about us proles is, we can't afford luxuries. Take care. She stares at me again with a mixture of anxiety, suspicion, and confusion before turning away and running back along the path. Aww. She's gonna become a Libertad member if she thinks like that. Like, you can make your own future. You can create your own path regardless of where you come from and what your circumstances are when you're born and things like that. You can, but if you act like Jude, then you give up hope, and then you can't ever do what you wanted. You can't ever gain what you desired. Like, the whole reason that I was able to, like, purchase a Wii U and a PS4 and things like that was because I really wanted to, and I always made sure that it was within my budget before I did it. And you know what? I was finally able to buy 2 game systems that are actually really rather expensive by myself, without any help from anybody, or my parents buying it for me, like most kids when they're young. And I'm turning 20, living on my own, have been since I was 17, have been since before grade 12 started and ended. And I'm finally at a place where I can be like, hey, I'm functioning like an adult. So you know what? Fuck that. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as you're determined enough and brave enough to get to that spot. And you know what? Little progress and little steps gets you someplace, because eventually you'll be able to look back and be like, wow, I actually got pretty far. Because you know what? That's what I've been doing lately, and it's like, you know what? Hey, I've actually gotten pretty far in life. And I'm pretty surprised by it. And you know what? It feels fucking great. It really does. So fuck Jude and giving up on hope, because you know what? That doesn't get you anywhere. That gets you exactly where you don't want to be. Anyway, that's my little rant for that. I'm sorry, Jude. The girl Elise calls Jude has already disappeared from her view, but Elise is still staring into the emptiness left by the girl. Your friend? My best friend. Jude was the one who talked her boss into letting me work at the factory, even though at the time I was only 11. It's MM's policy not to employ children under 13. And at 13 years old, Jude had only started working at the factory herself. The boss said that if I couldn't perform at work, he would not only fire me, but also Jude. But Jude was willing to take that risk because she had faith in me. I don't know what would have happened to her if she had been fired from the factory. Her parents had passed away, and she was living alone. I did make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, though, so Jude always had to clean up my mess and ended up working much harder than she should have. She was only 13, friends. The red of the sun is reflected in Elise's droopy eyes. Why did you have to work at 11 years old? Because if I hadn't, Madame Beauvoir would have made me pay for my living expenses by working at her brothel. Her life must have been difficult. I've always felt that Elise's magic is really strong for a girl her age, but now I know that it's because this girl has been using magic to earn a living since she was 11. Magic is her only means of survival. Magic is the only thing she could depend on to save herself. Hey, friends? What is it? Could you take Jude as your assistant too? Elise pleads to me with sorrow in her face, the usually bright smile nowhere to be seen. Take Jude as my assistant? I don't need another assistant, that's for sure. Jude wouldn't be any help for my research even if I hired her. But I could probably make some things up just so she could be a research assistant on paper. Even Elise isn't actually an assistant, that's just what I call her. So yes, I might be able to help Jude if I really wanted to, provided that we got Professor Poe's approval. There is a small chance that I could help Elise's best friend, which would no doubt make Elise happy too. But I'm sorry, Elise, my research project is not a charity. Is she gifted in compassion? No, Jude's traits are courage and faith. Then she can't be my research assistant. Sorry. Disappointed, but hardly surprised, Elise forces a weak smile. That is too bad, but I understand. Thanks for thinking about it, friends. Sorry, I wish I could help your friend. That's okay, you've already done so much for me. I'm glad I met you and Aretha. Elise's face is starting to brighten up just as the orange sky fades to an ever-deepening blue. It's almost sundown. Shall we go? I still have to deliver this budget plan to Lord Godwin. Yeah, let's go. We exit the factory, walk to a street in the city area, hail a taxi carriage, and head to Lord Godwin's house. I hope Frederick won't be there. I don't know what I should say to him. I bet Frederick's gonna be there. It's already dark when we arrive at Lord Godwin's house. Just like last time, the butler shows us to a room where we're to wait for Lord Godwin. Elise seems uncomfortable when she looks at the piano, but she doesn't say anything. Before long, Lord Godwin enters the room. He eyes me with the same disinterested look he gave when I was here with Professor Poe, then shifts his gaze to Elise without changing his expression, then to me again. Good evening, my lord. Professor Poe wanted me to give this to you. He quietly takes the budget plan from my hand and briefly studies it, his eyeballs making small movements until they reach the bottom of the paper where the professor has signed the document. He asks tonelessly, Anything else? No, my lord. He turns his back on us and steps off to the door from which he entered earlier. My lord. Hearing Elise's voice, Lord Godwin halts his steps. Without moving his body, he turns his head to regard Elise with one eye, but says nothing. My lord, is Frederick not here? Finally, he turns his body and faces us. No. Do you have knowledge of his whereabouts? No, my lord. Should we? I was told he went to the conservatoire yesterday. Did you see him at the conservatoire? No, because yesterday we were doing experiments at the... Huh? You haven't seen him since yesterday? No, I have not. What? Frederick didn't come home yesterday? But it was hardly getting late when he left us at the factory. Friends, could Frederick have gotten lost in the Pearls District? I wouldn't bet against the possibility. Lord Godwin's right eyebrow is raised very slightly. This is the first noticeable facial expression since entering the room. The Pearls District? Why was he there? We were at the factory conducting research. He came to observe us. I see. The Lord leaves without another word. Friends, what do you think happened? I don't know. What should we do? Let's just leave it to the police. It's not like we can do anything. But... Elise hesitates for a moment, but soon finds her resolve. I'll go look for him. What? You don't even know where to look. He's probably still somewhere near the factory. Please let Aretha know that I won't be home until late. Elise quickly sets off to look for Frederick. Hey, wait! The girl stops and looks at me questioningly. I don't know if we'll be able to find Frederick, but what I do know is that I can't let Elise go by herself, although she knows the pearls just... Bleh, bleh. Ew. Oh, God. Although she knows the Pearl streets well, she may still run into trouble. I'll go with you. Great, let's go! And this is where I leave it, because honestly, I think he's in a lot of trouble, and I think it's going to get really interesting from now on, and I think I've already kind of done a lot so far, and I might be hitting the limit of if I go too much farther, I'll have that 1 hour episode again, or close to 1 hour. I can't remember. It was either an hour or it was close to an hour, and like, yeah, no. We're not gonna do that, how about? So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hey guys, and that was an octave higher. If you're interested in checking out the next episode, then just click on the icon on the right hand side. If you're interested in any of the other games that I have listed here that have very similar storylines that are pretty intricate, I would say to check them out as well. And if you want to subscribe, just click my icon and we're good to go. So yeah, see you later.